Morning everyone, Quinn with 74 Weld out here in Death Valley. Beautiful, chilly morning. Figured I'd do an updated walk around. I've done a bunch of changes to my 392. Starting with, I went ahead and figured since I've had this vehicle for almost 2 years now, it was time to start cutting stuff. So I got the Moto-Built Tomahawk front frame chop kit. So this bumper actually, you'll section off like about 6 inches of frame and it pushes everything back. It helps with your approach angle. Super nice unit. Kept the same Project X lights and just made a mount on that stuff. I've said on every video, on every vehicle that I own, I'll put a Warn winch and Factor 55 recovery gear. It's just standard. This summer, I loaned this Jeep to Eric Miller, two-time King of the Hammers winner, and he threw some Nitto 40-inch K-specs on it. These are the sticky compound, and I've been running those kind of ever since. Even driving them on the street, I'm pretty surprised. They actually balanced out pretty good. They're technically not a DOT-approved tire, but they ride great. One of the main changes that I just made, and it's covered in oil now, my fault, is I put Dynatrac housings underneath this. So this is a narrower 44 front and 60 rear. So it's a JK width housing with JL brackets and JL outers. So the overall with portals on this puts me at like 85 inches outside of tire. And that's with a 17x9 KMC beadlock and a 40 13.5 17 Nitto. So I can still actually squeeze in between the fender wells of a trailer on this. I drove this thing out here from San Diego. We did not trailer, and we'll probably do, I would think, at least 1,000 miles on this trip. So I'll move around a little further on the vehicle. I also did a PSC full hydraulic, or sorry, not full hydraulic, a PSC hydro assist kit on this. It is night and day different. It's one finger steering. I've lost power steering on this twice now. Let me be super clear. This is 100% my fault. When we were running the lines, I ran them through a bulkhead fitting just to try to clean stuff up a bit. And as it's flexing, that bulkhead fitting was starting to crack itself loose. And so I've dumped power steering fluid all over the front end of my vehicle twice now on this trip. One change we did make on the front end, when I went with the Moto-Built Tomahawk bumper, I also put Rock Jock anti-rock sway bars front and rear. And in the process, I didn't have anywhere to mount the reservoir for my Fox 3.0s. So I had to make a relocation bracket, move the reservoir, and then make new hydraulic lines for that. It wasn't too big of a deal. So the front end is slightly narrower than it has been in the past by, I think, 3 inches. So this is actually 3 inches narrower than a stock JL on portals. Still running rock slide steps. I put a set of these on the new Bronco that I've got as well. I'll show you guys that later. Our door hinges. We did make some changes to the back. So I put an anti-rock, Rock Jock Products anti-rock sway bar on the rear also, which it feels a lot better off-road. It definitely gets a little bit better flex than the factory stuff, but it still feels good and planted. On the rear, I did Moto-Built stubby bumper kit, and I just figured like it's time to change stuff up. I'd run the factory bumpers for a while, and part of the reason I did that is I wanted to be able to just point to, you know, our customers and they'd ask, I get the question all the time, you know, can I really just bolt portals on and run 40s? And my answer is always, yeah, you can. On a 392, you can bolt on a portal and run a 40, and that's it. So given the fact that I've been able to say that for a year and a half, I figured, all right, I'm now willing to do bumpers. I did a full JL, the 392 skid from Moto Built as well, because I was getting into rocks once in a while, and it's good to have a little protection. A recent addition right before this summer, when I was running Rubicon, the WFO Concepts cooler rack. It perfectly fits a 65 quart Yeti. It's super stout and stable, and I don't ever carry a spare tire. Part of the reason on that, I don't want, well, I guess I can't really say I don't want the weight because the cooler's heavy. I just feel that I can always plug a tire between glue treads, and you can get the extra long, beefy plugs. I mean, I've plugged cuts where I could fit 4 fingers in the sidewall. You just continually stack plugs and it gets you off the trail. So I never carry a spare. I don't know that I ever went through. I gave the Jeep when I was in one of the trips to Utah. As you can see, it's packed to the brim. I did American Adventure Labs. These are a fridge slide. I'm not running a fridge on this trip just because the cooler and a little more room for space. And then I made a slide, the slide was here. I made a mount for just a Yeti box, and so it's tied down and mounted in place. I've used this a ton, and then Britt also has these lights, and you can't see too well during the day, but they're super nice at nighttime. We cooked a whole meal around. We had a table on this side last night and had a whole setup going, and it was pretty convenient. It's good little cook area. What did I miss? Oh, on the rear, if you get down, so this is a axle kit that we've got now with Dynatrac. So this is a 4-inch 250 wall chromoly heat treated tube in a Dana 60 with our portal kit that will bolt straight up to it. So what I've now in this Jeep, I've had stock housings, I've had Curry, TerraFlex, and now Dynatrac. And the reason I do that is if I'm going to sell a kit, I'm not going to just, put something together and assume that it works. I'll make sure that I test it myself first, and then I'll say, yeah, it works, and sell it to customers. So I had these housings made by Dynatrac, and I'll run these for, I don't know, the next year or so at least. But I had time on the TerraFlex stuff. I thought they were really nice. Got packaged with Curry. It's one of those things, like, I think all of those companies make a good product. Everybody has their personal opinions on them. But I want to make sure that when we come out with a kit that we're compatible, that it's more than just assuming that it works. I'll validate it on this Jeep, and then I'll say, okay, we're gonna sell this. So one of the last things I totally forgot to mention on this, which has been like an absolute, not even lifesaver, it's just super convenient. I sent my Starlink off. I actually saw this initially. I was running Rubicon this summer with Casey Curry, and he's driving next to me, and I see him talking on his phone, and there's no way we have cell coverage there. And I tell him to roll down his window. He gets off the phone, and I'm like, how do you have coverage? And he goes, and he points to his roof. There's a company out of Big Bear called Unique Componentry, and Justin managed to essentially, he takes your Starlink and router, guts them, and then pots them in I think it's an epoxy new housing. And so this unit runs on magnets. You can see it pops off the vehicle and just sticks down. And so we've got full, perfect internet on this entire trip. And this thing has a single 12-volt plug that actually comes with that ARB style connector. So you can wire in an ARB fridge plug, and it has that 12 volt where it clicks in and then screws in place so you know it won't rattle free. So we've had internet this entire trip. Starlink's awesome. The unique componentry is, I think, the best kit out there, because a lot of the ones will have aluminum housings, and according to Justin, that will actually block some of that data from coming, from transmitting and coming in. It works kind of as an obstruction. The way he pots it in epoxy, it's super clean, it's totally waterproof. A lot of the race trucks are now running these on top of a full race car, so it's a full sealed unit. Doesn't matter if dust, rain, whatever. This thing's it's so convenient. And it allows me to like take phone calls and actually do work while we're in the middle of nowhere in Death Valley. So if you have a Starlink and you're thinking about it, Justin's the guy to talk to. Unique componentry out of Big Bear, California. I think that's kind of it. I'm still running stock coils on this. And so this is essentially a 392 at stock height. Because of some of the stuff, and I think mainly the Moto-Built skid plate, it does add a fair amount of weight. So I'll probably go to a rock crawler 1.5 inch spring on this just to lift it back up to essentially where it sat before I put the extra weight on. And I'll do that as an update in the future. If you like these videos and you appreciate walkarounds, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps us out. And give us comments. Like, seriously, I will read the comments. If you want more information on this or any other build, or you want us to do a video on something, let us know. We'll pay attention and we'll try our best to get to them. Until the next one, thanks for watching.